Hello friends, this is Benjamin from English Classes Online. Today we want to discuss how to write a speech in the West African Senior School Certificate Examination or the National Examinations Council Senior School Certificate Examination or any other equivalent senior school certificate examination. Now, speech writing is an essential part of these exams. And beyond the exams, speech writing is a very vital skill to learn, because if you follow the activities of great leaders, you will discover that the kinds of speech they deliver help them to succeed in their various careers. So speech writing is a very vital skill to acquire, not just for passing your exams, but for career success in general. So let's look at it in this video lecture. If you are new to this channel, kindly subscribe and click on the bell icon so that whenever I upload a new video, you will be informed instantly. Let's get started with this particular important topic right away. So here we are, how to write a speech in Wassce, Neco, Ssce, illustrating with past questions. And specifically for this video, we are taking our past questions from West African Senior School Certificate Examinations of June 2010. Now the question is this: you are the chief speaker in a debate on the topic, "The youths of today are more interested in the pursuit of pleasure than in academic work. Write out your speech for or against the topic." So here we are looking at speech writing, and we are also looking at debate writing. Now, or what is traditionally known as argumentative essay. But you are presenting your arguments in form of a speech. That's usually what happens in a debate. As a chief speaker, you are expected to speak to the audience and marshal your points. So we are going to look at this. Of course, we shall be taking this one after the other, but before we get into answering the questions, I want us to familiarize ourselves with the features of a speech. Every form of writing has its definite structure, and we want to look at it so that when we start explaining how to write the speech, you will know exactly what we are talking about. Now, the first feature of a speech is the title or heading. Of course, we have looked at the question, and it is from the question that we create our title or heading. And the title or heading, we can just use capital letter to present everything, and we don't need to underline. We shall look at it when we get into the illustration. The second thing is the opening greetings. One major feature of speech writing is the opening greetings, because you are speaking to a live audience, and so you need to greet them. Courtesy demands that before you speak to people, at least you greet them, and that is the tradition. So after your title, you have the opening greetings. Then the third one is the introduction, which is the first paragraph. Paragraph 1 is what you will use to introduce the subject. All right, you can simply say, I am here to support the motion, which states, or so just present the topic. Let people know why you have come out to speak. So that is the business you have in the first paragraph. Then the body of the speech. After your introduction, you now enter the body of the speech, and this should be at least paragraphs 2 to 4. In some cases, you may have, depending on the number of points, like the illustration we have now, we outlined as many points as possible. As much time as you are able to, to handle, or as many points as time will permit you to discuss. Why not? So, but at least it should be not less than 3 points. That's why this is the minimum. Paragraphs 2 to 4, subject points 1 to 3, at least, or more. Then the conclusion. After the body of the speech, the next is the conclusion, which is the last paragraph. And the last paragraph is where you summarize and thank the audience, and that's the end of your speech. Now, having said this, one important thing that you need to do in order to write a good speech, not just a speech, but any type of writing you are going to do, for it to be meaningful, you need to create an outline. An outline is simply a list of the major points you want to discuss or you want to write about. All right, so here we revisit the question because it's based on the topic we are given that we create an outline. The outline is a list of the major ideas, the major points. Debate writing is all about marshalling the points. You pick a point, you discuss it to its logical conclusion. That's how you write an argument. So here, the question is, you are the chief speaker in a debate on the topic, the youths of today are more interested in the pursuit of pleasure than in academic work. Write out your speech for or against the topic. All right, so here we presume that we want to support the topic. Excuse me. And so we decide to create our outline. And we have come up with 6 points here. The first one is the first one in our outline is playing games, right? The second one is watching football matches. The third one is listening to music. The fourth is watching pornography. 5, boy-girl relationship. And 6, examination malpractice. Now, that is planning. You don't want to start writing your essay or your article or your speech, and then all of a sudden you go blank. You see, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Writing a speech, or indeed any other meaningful piece of writing, is like building a house. And a good house is designed and properly planned before the building starts, so that the builder goes into the site with a building plan, and that's the way it is done. So, having looked at how to create an outline, the next thing is we now have to go back and look at how to, we want to look at exactly how to write the speech. Let's start from the beginning. Okay. Of course, the question again, you are the chief speaker in a debate on the topic. The youths of today are more interested in the pursuit of pleasure than in academic work. Write out your speech for or against the topic. All right? Now, we can see exactly this is the topic. You can see how we have written it on the top center of our answer sheet. The youth of today are more interested in the pursuit of pleasure than in academic work. That's the topic we are giving. So we put it there. This method is the total capitalization method. Of course, you may decide to use a combination of capital and small letters in writing your topic, but there are rules that will guide you. If you are using that, then this the first word will start with a capital letter, T. Others will be in small letters. Then other words will start with capital letter if they are keywords, what we call content words like nouns, verbs, adverbs, adjectives. All right. So youth is a noun, so it will start with capital letter Y and others will be in capital letters. Of is a preposition. So lesser words or what we call function words like prepositions, conjunctions, auxiliary verbs, pronouns, articles, all those lesser words will be written in capital letters. And when we do so, we underline our headline or our topic or our title. So those are the two options. But here we have chosen to write everything in capital letter and then we don't underline it. This is acceptable. Then the second thing is the salutation. And this is the way to salute or to present your opening greetings in a speech. Mr. Chairman, every debate has a chairman. Mr. Chairman, panel of judges, timekeeper, co-debaters, ladies and gentlemen. This is an acceptable opening greeting for a debate. And take note of some mistakes that students usually make. Some will write this as co-debaters. That is completely on English. There is nothing like co-debaters. It is co-debaters. And then you notice the punctuation, the comma after each. And having done this, then this is our first paragraph. Of course, this is our first paragraph. And what do we do here? We start with the topic. We are presenting the topic. And look at what we say here. It is my pleasure to stand before you here to speak in support of the topic. The youths of today are more interested in the pursuit of pleasure than in academic work. This is the subject for discussion. So you present it. You may say some other things, you know. For instance, we have said here, those who disagree with this statement will have to convince us that pigs can fly. But to those who are interested in the truth, it is as clear as daylight for all to see. I am certain that by the time I am through with presenting my facts, nobody will be left in doubt that the youth of today are indeed more interested in pleasure than in academic work. So in this last sentence, we have actually stated what in writing we call thesis. And that is the central argument. That is exactly our viewpoint. We are saying here that the youths of today are more interested in the pursuit of pleasure than in academic work. That is our viewpoint. And we have stated that central argument. Now, there are some other things you can do in a debate which is optional, and that's what we have done here in paragraph 2, and that is what we call the definition of the key terms. It's optional. Of course, if you can manage it and incorporate it in your speech within the time allowed in the exam, it will win you additional mark. So in paragraph 2, we are saying, let me first of all explain two key terms in the above topic: pleasure and academic work. What is pleasure? Pleasure is the activity of enjoying yourself in contrast to working. Sometimes when you explain the terms, it is because you have the intention of using this definition to give greater support to your argument, to strengthen your argument, right? If not, you may just skip it. Academic work, on the other hand, refers to the tasks that have to be done in connection with education, especially studying in schools and universities. Between these two things, which one are the youths of today crazier about? You see, you are building your argument, you are drawing the attention of the audience to your line of argument. And this is really very important because you are talking to people who have wisdom, who are intelligent, and when you are really making cogent points, they know. And that is why you need to do everything to carry them along. And one of the devices for actually winning the attention of your audience is using rhetorical questions. For instance, we have asked a rhetorical question here. Between these two things, which one are the youths of today crazier about? We all know the correct answer, and that is the youths of today are crazier about pleasure than about academic work. We shall now examine the facts. Now, that is a good way of building your argument. You have raised a rhetorical question, you have asked it, and you have laid the foundation for the points you are going to discuss. And this is really very, very important. Coherence, making sure that the ideas you are discussing are all interconnected is really very important in your speech writing. So let's move further to, let's move to the next, okay. So here we are starting our argumentation, all right? So let's see if we can get this, all right? To start with, majority of the youths of today are more willing to spend their time playing games or chatting with one another than listening to lessons in class or studying their books at home. You see, this is what we call the topic sentence. Remember that in our outline, this is the first point we have jotted down, playing games. We want to look at the kind of attention the youths give to playing games. We compare it to the attention they give to the academic work. Our argument is that they are more interested in pleasure than in academic work. Now, once you state your major points, the next thing will be to build your argument. I mean, to support your points with evidence. Now, enter any class when a lesson is going on, and you will find that majority of students are busy chatting or playing with one another, completely detached from what the teacher is explaining. Only few pay attention in class these days. In fact, majority of students feel angry when a teacher enters their class because they regard the presence of a teacher as a violation of their freedom to play, chat, and enjoy themselves in idleness. They heave a sigh of relief when the teacher leaves the class. Now, you have driven home your message here. You are saying that they are more interested in playing games, which gives them pleasure, than in academic work. Then the second point in our outline is what we are going to discuss in the next paragraph. Take note here that it is a deliberate principle of paragraphing that only one major point should be discussed in each paragraph. So the next paragraph will discuss our next point in our outline. And this is how we do it in this particular paragraph. Hardly you find students studying their books far into the night these days. But if Man U is playing with Chelsea, or if Barcelona is playing with Real Madrid, they are ready to stay awake watching the match, even if it lasts the entire night. You have stated your point here. And our second point in our outline is watching football matches. You know, we want to compare the kind of interest, the kind of attention they pay to watching matches with the kind of attention they pay to studying their books or listening to lessons in class. In fact, by the next morning, they can still continue talking about the outcome of the match without any sign of sleep. But try to talk to them about studying their books, and you will be shocked to find that they are already snoring. So you have made your point. You know, when it comes to studying their books, they soon doze off, right? When they are watching a football match, they can spend the whole night. That's your argument, and that is quite obvious. Then our next point from our outline is listening to music, and then we discuss that in our next paragraph. Listening to music is another aspect of enjoyment that the youths pursue to the detriment of academic work today. Let's face the facts. Have you ever seen a boy or girl walking along the street and reading a book? That's a rhetorical question. Your answer is as correct as mine, an emphatic no. But you hardly go out there without seeing boys and girls walking along the street and listening to the music recorded in the phone, their ears completely blocked with the earpieces of their phones. It is quite amazing how soon they get used to the rhythm of the music. Before you say Jack, they have started singing the exact words and tunes of the latest release. But ask them questions on the topics discussed in class, and they become dumb. See, so that is your argument. You discuss it naturally. You pick a point, you discuss it to its logical conclusion. So let's go to the next points. Okay. Now, the next thing we are discussing here is watching pornography. This is a very harmful one, yet it's also part of what the youths are interested in. Most youths of today, all right, let's see if this can. Most youths of today are no longer interested in their studies or something like that because they are always watching pornography either on the television screens or on the screens of their handsets. Okay. Sorry, let's go back to that. Let me get the pointer here. They derive so much pleasure in watching nude pictures engaged in sexual activity that even when a teacher is teaching in class, they may not be able to capture anything taught as they are still busy gazing at those moving pictures on their handsets, even right there in the class. The question is, if they can do this inside the class, what do you expect that they will do when they are at home? Read their books? Pigs may as well fly. All right, so your argument here is that they hardly read their books. They give all their attention to pleasure, and they derive pleasure from pornography, watching pornography. So we are going to our next point, which is the boy-girl relationship, the friendship that they cultivate. Let's look at the boy-girl relationship. They derive so much pleasure from it that it removes their attention completely from their academic work. The youths of today know more than their grandparents when it comes to the pursuit of carnal pleasure. Every boy is crazy about having a girl whom he fondly calls his girlfriend and vice versa. Their full attention is given to sending and receiving of text messages and emails, making phone calls, chatting on Facebook, following up on Twitter, and so forth. The kind of music they listen to and the kind of movies they watch help to increase the madness, and soon they can no longer sleep at night. They are wide awake in the dead of the night, making midnight calls, chatting with their so-called girlfriends or boyfriends, as the case may be. Reading books or researching into the topics taught in class is completely out of it. So you discuss a point and you drive your message home. That is the kind of powerful argumentation that will convince your audience, because you give them a clear picture of what you are saying. You take them on a journey of each point, and you take them to the destination of that particular. You drive the message home. They see it logically. That's the power of argument. Then the next one is, what is just throwing more light on what we have already. The reading culture has been replaced with the viewing culture, viewing the television, the home video, YouTube, and so forth. Discussing football has replaced the academic group discussions that characterized the life of students in schools in the good old days. Today, wherever you see students in groups, they are either analyzing the European Champions League matches played the previous night, or they are comparing notes on their recent, other, games that they have watched at one time or the other. All right? So let's go to our next. So here we are making, we are trying to let the audience see the consequences of this particular situation. Because when you are presenting a speech, you want your audience to see very clearly the point you are making by giving illustrations, giving examples, giving analogies. All these are very important. And where you have statistics, you can provide statistics. Where you have quotations, you can provide quotations. Where you have references to valid sources, you are permitted to do this, all in the attempt to win the audience, because this is your major goal in this kind of speech writing. So here, this is our next point. The consequences of this shift of emphasis from academic work to the pursuit of pleasure are there for us to see. A very simple question will suffice. How many of our youths can sit down in any Wassce, Neco, or JAM exam hall and answer the questions all by him or herself? How many? Well, perhaps you may find 1 in 100 who is ready to sit for an examination without the so-called runs or expo. The existence of the notorious special centers is a clear proof that the youths of today are more interested in the pursuit of pleasure than in academic work. See, that last point is your thesis. Actually is a major point. You have provided the evidence and you have done it in a summary form there. Now, having marshaled out your points and having discussed them and driven home your message in each case, the next thing is to conclude and to thank the audience. And that's what we are doing here in the last paragraph. Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen, you will agree with me, you will all agree with me that I have been able to give you a clear picture of the situation. The facts have been so clearly presented that even the most doubtful Thomas here has no option but to believe that the youths of today are more interested in the pursuit of pleasure than in academic work. Here I rest my case. Thank you. Now you can see the way we have summarized, the way we have presented our concluding paragraph. In an argumentative speech, you need to be emphatic in the points you are making, because you are taking the position of a lawyer in a court of law. You know, just imagine a lawyer who is defending, maybe defending a client, you know, coming out to say, I think, or I suppose. No, it's not. You must come out with something emphatic. It is clear. It is indisputable, you know. You must sound very convincing to the audience. They have to key into your conviction. If you are not convinced if you are not convinced by your own argument, you don't expect anybody to be convinced, because as the saying goes, no one is expected to be more Catholic than the Pope. And it is illogical to cry more than the bereaved. You are presenting the argument, so you should sound completely convincing so that the audience will be convinced as well. Now, having presented your argument, then the next thing is for you, since it's a written speech, to simply write your name and your class. So here, Nehemiah Ifeanyi, SS2 Gold. Now, that's exactly the way to write a speech, and we have looked at it quite clearly. That is how it has been in today's video. We have been able to look at the step-by-step, you know, the steps that you ought to take in order to write a good speech. So I want to believe that you have been able to gain some benefits, and that will enable you to write a good speech when next you are required to write one. So I wish you well. Once again, I urge you to subscribe to this channel, especially if you are interested in video lectures like this. On this channel, we present we share ideas that will help students score high in their exams. We also discuss content writing techniques, digital marketing techniques, You know, we discuss ideas that help entrepreneurs as well to succeed in their various fields of activity. So apart from English learning, we discuss all aspects of writing, even for entrepreneurship purposes, for professional purposes. You want to write a blog post, you want to write, if you are a website manager, or you want to create content that will help you in one way or the other. We discuss how to write a book, how to publish a book. All these we discuss on this channel. So click on the bell icon so that whenever I upload a new video, you will be informed instantly. See you in the next video, and bye-bye for now.